So what I have to do is, instead of cleaning my palette, I'll just use the cover of the palette. It'll take less time.
Question?
And I can
Carol,
mix up, I can
Carol,
use the water.
Someone's got a question. I got a question.
Sure.
Your brushes are lovely. They apparently have a nice fine edge.
My brushes?
Yes, they hold a nice edge.
Yes. Well, I use,
How expensive are they?
yeah, I use a good quality square brush in different sizes.
What's the manufacturer on that brush?
Good question. Dick Blick. And then this is a mop brush that holds a lot of water. And I haven't used it much today because I'm not doing shadows. So I'm not using it. In order to dampen things, I'm using a 1.5 inch good quality brush. And that's Loiacono. And what else can I answer? I have a little rigger. You know, I use that for details. And as I said, this poor thing has been worn down. It's the same as this, but much smaller. All right. Now, here's the plan for the wet street. Any other questions before I go on to this? Because this is what you all want to see. You know, the other stuff I had to lay in just, you know, because I have to have something to reflect. Okay. So, and no more questions till I get started with this. All right.
Carol?
Oops.
Carol?
Yes?
When you re-wet it, do you spray it? Do you use it?
I didn't hear that.
When you,
It's me. I'm sorry. I apologize.
when you re-wet your painting, do you spray it? Do you use a sponge? How do you re-wet it?
How do you re-wet your painting?
How do I?
Re-wet it.
Oh, okay, that's a good question. I'll use some clear water, and I will go over it only once. Once. So if I wanted to get more lines in here, I would just, you know, wet it down, say, this area. Be very careful so it looks natural. See? It looks so natural, it's dripping. Okay, and then I let it dry up a bit till it's not so glossy. And you can test it, you know, you can see. See? I can do it again.
And one last question, your brushes, are they synthetic, are they camel hair, what are they? What are your brushes? Are they synthetic, are they camel hair, what are they?
I used to buy only sable brushes. But some of these flat ones, these long ones, some of them are synthetic materials. You just have to try them. You know, I mean, that's all I can tell you.
Thank you.
All right, I have my water here, so I can use that. Yeah, with clean water, I'm going to wet this down. Now, I just have to be careful to wet down only the white parts. Now, normally, I would slow down a bit, and I would take out my figures and paint them before I do this. But I'm really pressed for time because I know you close up here pretty early.
We're fine. We're fine.
Well, to paint figures.
We don't
So-
have to be here anytime we need. We can get out.
So I'm just going to get this wet. The purpose of wetting just the white area is to keep whatever washes you put on here contained. If you wet if I went over this, my wash would go completely over that. So you just have to check it. Make sure that it's all wet. You know, you don't want to take forever to do this, so you use a really large brush. Okay, I think I got it. Now, I'm going to put in the sky color. So I have to mix it on there because this is absolutely filthy. So I'll get my yellow ochre. And I'll just run it. And I don't have to be too careful because it'll only run into the wet areas. But what I am going to do is when I get down to the bottom, I'm going to darken it, a little more yellow ochre in there. That helps to give the feeling of distance going back. Okay, there we go. Now I'll pick up some red, alizarin crimson, or what is it, permanent rose. Again, I get a little bit darker at the bottom. Okay. And then the blue, and that's phthalo blue. No, not phthalo blue, cobalt blue. It's drying up very fast in here. And that's because of the lights, I think, the light. So I have it darker on one side and on the bottom. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to mix up some of these neutral tones. Not that one. Wow. Got all this color here. I'm going to make burnt sienna, phthalo blue. I have a lot of phthalo blue on this palette. And some alizarin crimson. Okay. And here comes the magic. Start here. While it's still wet. Dark here a little bit, browner up to here, and I take my hockey brush. Better be here. There it is. Oh, there it is, right in front of me. This is the Hake, H-A-K-E with an accent. It's a Japanese brush, and it's used for this purpose and other purposes also. So I'm going to drag it down, wipe it, drag it across, lightly. Now, it has to be darker over here. And you have to be concerned that the other parts are not going to dry on you. So, another piece, this is very dark. I'm going to reflect that. These come in all sizes, but this was the only one I could find today, of course. And I have 3 sizes. Is this? Now luckily I don't have to worry about the White House. Leave it the way it is. Here I need real dark. And a little bit of this blue. Blue door. And now I have the people which I will be masking out. Someone's going to be wearing red, so I'll put a little bit of red in there. And I have a figure here too, which hopefully the misket worked. Okay. Now all I have to do now is get the misket off, paint the figures, and I have to finesse it. Meaning that what I have to do is put in some little details that I'm missing because I was working in such speed. At first, I get a little bit of yellow ochre here. Now I have I said this was a cement wall. Well, we're going to make it a rock wall. Put a few rocks in. Now these houses are also rocky, made of rocks. So I'll just add some of that. Same thing here. Really dark. There comes my rocks. Keep this very dark. Here. And then lighter as I come out here. Where the ground meets the road, I just put a little bit of a dark accent. Now this needs to be darker. And hopefully it's still damp. If it isn't, then I have to re-wet it at a later stage. Okay. still get away with it. All right, now there's little stuff here. Little bit of a little bit of stuff up here. Here. I have to see my roof, my line for the building is off, so I have to just see what I can do about that. And that's what I mean about finessing it. I can just do it. I would like to put a little rust on that house. It's too white. So.
Your reflections are
Vertical.
but they're the same length?
Yes.
Or a little longer than your building?
Yes, I'm not worrying too much about making them exact. I'm making them longer than with the eye might see.
Okay.
Is to make it more dramatic. Okay. What was I doing? Okay, this is too light. Oh, rust. Yeah, I'll use some burnt sienna. And with a fairly dry brush. Okay, that's better. Maybe a little rust up here. Maybe over here. How much time do I have?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Okay. I'm almost finished. All right. All right. Ideally, I'd like to take the figures out and paint them, but it's too wet. I can't take them out right now. They're not. Let's see if I can rub this off a little bit, but I have two figures with umbrellas, so those would be red umbrellas and dark figures, and I have another figure over here. And I just really don't want to take them out at this point. I just indicated a little bit of light color where they go. What else can I tell you? Oh, yeah. See, this is too much of an area. There's no change in value, and it's all one color.
Right.
So let's do something with it. First, what happens is no matter how dark you put these in, they always dry lighter. So this is one area I did put in dark. And it dried so much lighter. So let's see what happens. This is almost dry, the street, so I don't care down here so much because it's okay. And another thing I can do is I can take a brush with dark and I can spatter the street. I don't want to do it here because we're not in a studio situation. So, but I don't like is see this shape here. That's not a good shape. So I can only go darker. So what about if I just changed it a bit? Okay, that's better. How about drooping down? Okay, oh, this. And that's why you have to step away from your painting occasionally, and you have to look at it with a fresh eye, because you miss these things. Okay, here I would like to get a little bit. And I'm just finessing it. It's having fun. Okay, I'm not gonna fuss too much more. I just want to say one thing. I teach plein air painting in watercolor on Wednesday mornings from 9:30 to 12. And I charge $10 a class. We go to different sites. So tomorrow is the first class. Tomorrow we're going to Canal Street in Tarpon Springs. The reason we're going to Canal Street is because they have that old sponge building, and it's on the corner. And I can teach that technique using the sponge building, because that's a good place. It has corners, edges, there's trees there, and there's a lot of street. So that's a good place. So I'm going to go there tomorrow. I demonstrate at 9:30 promptly. My alarm goes off, and I take about half an hour for the painting, and I do a quarter sheet, half of this. And anyone is welcome to come. I have up here the schedules for the month of January. I make up a new schedule for each month. And anyone who loses their schedule can call me. And I'm in the book, and it's the phone number is on there. And I have directions there to go there. If you need other directions or don't understand them, I'd be happy to help anyone. And I usually have one extra easel in the trunk of my car. So that's another consideration. First one who gets there, gets it. Any other questions?
Can you bring me one of those? Can you bring me one too?
Thank you, Carol. That was wonderful.
I'm sorry?
Thank you so
Wonderful,
much.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, it's beautiful.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And here's I have this. I forgot.
Thank you.
I have my business cards I stuck in here just in case.